CNN's corporate boss seems to be getting kind of desperate and basically is standing on their final legs. CNN is. So, CNN's corporate boss, David Zaslav, wants network for Republicans, Democrats as ratings sink. So Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav said CNN is renewing its focus on journalism. Interesting. Signaling he wants the scandal scarred left leaning network to eventually deliver straight news that also appeals to conservatives. Now, here's the problem, right? Like, this is the problem. One good part of him actually like saying is eventually, right? That one word is like a saving grace. And the reason why I say that is because you cannot change things overnight, no matter who you are, no matter what company you are, whatever, right? You have to gradually do it. Because not only that, there has now been generations of people that have been wronged by CNN, right? That have been blatantly lied to by CNN. So for people that are not very left leaning or people who are not sick of BS, right? It's going to be hard to convince everyone else other than those people that CNN is actually now a trusted journalistic enterprise, right? Because the problem is there's been so many people for multiple generations where you get the parents, you got the grandparents, the parents, the kids, where basically it's like, oh no, don't trust CNN because they've lied about this, and this, and it could be like really big stuff that might for that specific family or specific families might be a really big deal, and if that stays within that mindset of the family generationally, it's going to be pretty hard to convince them to come back, right? Like basically, the eventually in this article might be more like 20 to 30 years down the line that maybe they will get their reputation back in terms of being more journalism based, right? Like it's going to be really, really hard for CNN to actually regain that side. And that's if they even go down the path of actually trying to report straight news. The CEO whose company owns CNN, Warner Bros., HBO, Animal Planet, and TLC told reporters at Allen and Co.'s summer camp for billionaires in Sun Valley, Idaho, that CNN's new approach will pay off in the long term, even as ratings sink to historic lows. And this is the thing, right? I think in the short term, CNN is going to get so beat down by basically every news organization, right? Like any news organization that basically just has been more so in the center ish is going to be doing better than CNN for quite some time, right? And the reality, I think CNN would probably have to fire a lot of their hosts for people to actually take them seriously. Journalism first. America needs a news network where everybody can come and be heard. Republicans and Democrats, Celeste said. I think you're seeing more of that at CNN. We're not going to look at the ratings, and in the long run, it's going to be worth more. Interesting. We're not going to look at the ratings. I wonder why. Yeah. Zalislav, who took the helm of Discovery and Warner Media after it merged to form Warner Bros. Discovery in April, hired Chris Litt as head of CNN, following the ouster of Jeff Zucker earlier this year. His mandate for Lish, a former executive producer of CBS's, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert was to get rid of the sensational, partisan, Trump-focused coverage made popular under Zucker. I think Chris is doing a great job pivoting CNN, Zaslav told Variety. Under Lynch, CNN has dialed back using the breaking news banner on its reports in order to shift away from opinion based programming. The only problem is they still have pretty much almost all opinion based programming. But one well placed source told the Post that the ratings have taken a hit due in part to removing such sensational and delicious details that have become commonplace in cable news. Do you know how disgusting that they basically put that word in as delicious for news? Like, what's delicious about news? What delicious details about news are there? Right? So the problem is we are not a neutral country, the source said. The ratings are getting worse because they are taking out all the bells and whistles. CNN's ratings are as bad as local news ratings. New management is not freaking out, but everyone else at CNN is, the source added. They want to fix the shows first, but they don't realize the shows and ratings are connected. After half of a year of weak ratings, CNN turned in one of its worst months yet, according to TV ratings agency Nielsen, which I'm surprised that they still exist. CNN's weekend ratings for the month were the lowest of the year in both the all-important 25 to 54-year-old demographic and total viewers. It also coincided with a historic low for the network on Saturday, June 18th, which saw the network dip to 57,000 total demo viewers. That Saturday was also the worst rated since 1993, which predated CNN's top competitors, Fox News and MSNBC. So CNN's reliable sources hosted by Brian Stelter notched its lowest rated month since June 2001, bringing in 79,000 demo viewers and 585,000 average total viewers. Now, the thing that amazes me, right, is why are there still people checking out Brian Stelter? That's something that I do not understand at all. So Stelter's show, which focuses on big media stories and how the press covers the news, also marked its low second quarter since 2019 with an average of 679,000 viewers and 111,000 average demo viewers. Stelter and other opinion-focused anchors have recently been on the hot seat at CNN. According to a recent Axios report, Lish is evaluating whether CNN staffers can adjust to the new approach. Anyone who doesn't fall in line could be ousted, according to the report. And again, here's the thing, right? If CNN were to basically fire the majority of all of their staffers, all of their hosts, right, their anchors, yeah, people would again probably take them a little bit more seriously. Oh yeah, okay, so you are actually going to move more towards journalism. And here's the thing, this is the funny thing, right? CNN has the money to literally fire all these anchors, right, and replace them with independent journalists that do have a fan base already. Fan bases that are bigger than all of their anchors, right? Way more charismatic and way more honest. So the report did not mention whether any specific CNN anchors were under particular scrutiny, but it did note that Stelter and Jim Acosta were among the personalities whose left-leaning viewpoints have drawn the ire of conservatives. Despite weak ratings for reliable sources, the show still outpaced CNN primetime hosts like Anderson Cooper and Don Lemon for the quarter in terms of total viewers. Nielsen said in the second quarter of the year, CNN primetime reeled in an average of 670,000 total viewers and 155,000 in the demo. Mediate recently reported that Stelter and Acosta beat out CNN's weekday primetime programming, a rare feat that demonstrates just how bad things are at CNN. But the left-leaning network's ratings slide began well before new management took over. Earlier this year, after former President Donald Trump left office, CNN ratings took a 90% nosedive, both overall and in the demographic coveted by advertisers in the first week of January. And shortly after, longtime boss Zucker resigned after he didn't disclose a romantic relationship with another senior executive at the company. So let's check out some of the comments. Trust and confidence takes years, if not decades, to build and yet are quickly lost. If CNN thinks their ratings are going to go up overnight, then they're fooling themselves. They'll need to rebuild that trust they destroyed by acting like partisan hacks for so many years. And this is basically my point, right? Like, their only saving grace within this article is that word eventually, right? That is the saving grace in this whole article because basically they realize this is not going to be a quick fix. They might want it to be, but it's not going to be. I believe it when I see it. There's a huge need for nonpartisan news, but we will likely see a person on Mars before we see that. He wants the scandal-scarred left-leaning network to eventually deliver straight news that also appeals to conservatives, allowing Zucker to turn CNN into the progressive mouthpiece that trust lost will never be returned. By keeping Mr. Potato Head, whoever that is, Acosta and Le Mans employed prove this is hollow words. Unless you completely clean house, including all the non-on-air staff, CNN would never be trusted to broadcast real news. That's also my point as well. Exactly, who trusts a cheating spouse again? Who trusts a thief that says they've gone straight? Who trusts a liar who says they've stopped lying? No one with a working brain, that's who. You know what, this is actually like a really, really good statement. I really like this comment, right? Because this really fits in the sentiment, right? So I'm going to read it again. Who trusts a cheating spouse again? Who trusts a thief that says they've gone straight? Who trusts a liar who says they've stopped lying? No one with a working brain, that's who. So there are, of course, still going to be people that trust CNN for whatever reason, but the majority of people that are either left but sick of the BS, middle, sick of the BS, or right, sick of the BS, are going to be just, guess what, sick of the BS that CNN has been caught lying about multiple times. Dun, 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 dun. Good idea. I want to know how much they had to pay Nick Sandman for them slandering a child. Bum 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 bum. Good luck. Most of us want nothing to do with you. So can the CEO tell of which, if any, current on-camera personnel would be able to qualify to keep their jobs? Probably none, honestly. So feel free to give your thoughts. If you want to learn how to get out of debt and master your money, go down below. Check out 14bucks.com.